Hello and welcome to Tool Time Tuesday. This is Sarah Stovetop coming to you live from my kitchen. And I'm excited to share with you 7 more simple summer grilling tips. So last week we had 8 plus a bonus grilling tips. And today we are going to do 7 more. These ones are more about cooking as opposed to how to handle things on the grill, how to handle the grill. So let's get started. Oh, first of all, I'm Sarah Stovetop, and I'm a Pampered Chef. I've been doing Pampered Chef for 11 years, and almost 12, and it's been a real exciting time for me. Just a great way to share the skills I have in the kitchen and the love I have for cooking. And I come to you every Tuesday night just to share some things. Sometimes it's about a specific Pampered Chef tool. Sometimes it's about a recipe that I'm doing or showing you. And sometimes it's just tips. And the last couple weeks, I've been talking about grilling tips because I think this is the season for it. So we may as well get started with the actual tips, right? Okay, so tip number 1. Let me know if you're tuning in, where you're tuning in from, and what you like to grill with. and my usual visitor is my dog Hobbs, and my husband's informing me that Hobbs is asleep. So you will not be seeing him tonight, probably. Oh, well. So usually he comes in and gets a biscuit, but not tonight. Oh, well. Thank you for sharing that with me, Mitch. I needed to know. I was wondering when he was going to come in. Okay, tip number 1, when you are cooking, so we're going to talk about different things that you cook and how to treat them on the grill. So first tip number 1, when you're cooking chicken, use lower heat. And in fact, an indirect method is probably the best. So my husband is the griller, and so what he does is he'll heat up the grill, turn all the burners up on high, because we use a gas grill. If you use a charcoal grill, then you're going to want to get your fire going. You're going to want to allow the fire to die down until the coals are kind of glowing and you have a little bit of white on them, a little ash, I guess you would say. And then you want to spread those out towards the sides, and so that the food is in the middle. The chicken, in specifically the chicken, is in the middle, and that way it's not going to get flamed up. There's not going to be a direct hot heat under it. If you're using a gas grill, you basically turn off one or both of the outside burners. Or excuse me, you turn off the inside burner and maybe another one of them, depending on how strong your grill is or how hot it gets. And it's like you're creating an oven basically outside. But you don't want to cook chicken directly over high heat because it's going to burn. So that is your tip number 1. Tip number 2, when you are cooking, hold on, I gotta get it. There it is. Okay. Cook pork and beef over high heat because you want it to cook quickly and you want it to get a little bit of the grill marks on there, and the best way to do that is the high heat. And then it'll let's see, and you'll want to flip that like no more than 4 times. The chicken, you can keep turning it. You can turn it often, but with the pork or the beef, you want no more than 4 times. We usually just do flip it once and then it's done. So, but sometimes you might want to, start it on one way and then turn it, which would be a flip, I guess, to get the grill marks so that they're an X instead of just straight lines. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Cook your meat over high heat and turn it frequently. Tip number 3 is use 2 skewers when you're doing kebabs or small foods that you're putting on kebabs. It makes it easier to turn them and then they don't flip. Have you ever had this happen where you've got like shrimp or even small pieces of chicken on a skewer and you turn it, or vegetables are notorious for this. You turn them and it's the same side that gets cooked because it flips and it just doesn't work that very well. So take 2 skewers side by side like this and skewer the meat or the vegetables with 2 of them. And then it's a lot easier to flip them too. So something to grab onto, 2 things to grab onto. So that is your tip number 3. Let's see. Number 4. Let's get down to number 4. Oh, I like this one. Wrap your veggies in foil or use the grill stone. The Rock Crock Grill Stone is fantastic for putting on the barbecue. And that way you don't have to, uh-oh, someone's coming. I hear Hobbs. That way you don't have to worry about things falling through the grate. So here's my little friend. He's awakened and he's ready for his biscuit. Can you say hi? Oh, good morning or good evening, I should say. Okay, I'll let you have your biscuit. Sit. Good, Bella. Oh my goodness. So excited. There you go. Okay. I was wondering when you were going to come by. Yeah. Is that good? He does love his biscuits. Okay. Let me check the comments while we're here. I did not call him, but when do you add the barbecue sauce? Great question, Mitch. Great question. And we will get to that. So hold on there. I just wanted to turn so I don't have a halo over my head. Okay, so wrap your veggies in foil or use a grill stone so that they don't fall through the grates. That's really important. Okay, let me stop. Hold on. Let me stop the banner going across because it's making me crazy. The ticker. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. Where is the ticker? Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we did the veggies. Okay, let's go on to tip number 5. That is marinate your meat. Marinating makes it tender, gives it some flavor, and usually you don't have to marinate for too long. It could be for, an hour or 2, or you could do it 24 hours. It depends on the meat. The tougher the meat, the longer you're going to want to marinate it. But it's really up to, it'll depend on your recipe. And with that, you're going to want to use, you can use glazes or sauces, but those you want to add at the very last 10 minutes of cooking because they tend to burn. So make sure your food is already pretty much almost done, and then you can add your glaze or your barbecue sauce to answer your question, Mitch, and that way you'll be able to, then it won't get burned. But I also like to use a dry rub. So Pampered Chef makes a ton of different rubs, but I also make my own. I have this wonderful cookbook from the 12 Bones restaurant in Asheville, and they have all kinds of wonderful barbecue rubs and sauces too. And the rubs are basically a combination of all different spices that you might even have in your drawer. Things like onion powder and garlic powder and chili powder and paprika and a little bit of sugar, usually brown sugar, kind of depends on the rub, and definitely different spices. You might have thyme or basil or something like that. So different rubs, different flavors, really a great way to add flavor to the meat that you're cooking. And the nice thing about barbecue, you don't have to have a specific recipe. You could just say, okay, I have some extra Italian dressing in the refrigerator. I'm going to marinate my chicken in that and do that overnight. And the next day you skewer it, or if it's some small pieces, or put it directly on the grill in an indirect method, so it's not flaming up. And you've got dinner in less than half an hour. So it doesn't take a lot of forethought. Marinating does. You just have to plan for that. But the process, you don't have to do anything. You just stick it in the marinade and it goes. So Marinate, definitely a good idea. Okay, let's see. The number 6 is take your, oops. I have a little typo there. Sorry about that. Take food off a minute or two early. Just forgot a space there. A minute or two early because it continues to cook once you take it off the grill. Same thing as when it comes out of the oven. It takes, it does continue to cook. And so you don't want to have your meat so done that it's going to continue cooking. And you always want your meat to rest for about 10 minutes to redistribute all the juices so that they don't all come out and make the meat tough and dry. So definitely take it off a couple minutes ahead of time and use a meat thermometer. That's what they're for. So if chicken should be 165, if it's 163, go ahead and take it off. Let it sit for another 10 minutes or so. It should be perfect. Okay, so let's see. Just want to make sure I hit everything on here. Okay, and tip number 7. Before I get to tip number 7, though, I did want to share with you. Oops, let me take that off. Share with you my my VIP club because we're doing a challenge over on Facebook. So in my VIP club, if you want to join, go ahead and ask to join. It's it's on Facebook, Sarah Stovetop's VIP club, and join our challenge. We're posting 3 pictures of something we've made on the grill, and the fun thing is you could even do your epic fails, and then everybody who does that is going to be entered into a drawing for a fun Pampered Chef spice rub. So definitely do that. I'm looking to see if there's any comments before we wrap up. Okay. Okay. So definitely come on over there and join me. And then the last thing, that was the grilling challenge in my VIP club. I love having these little banners that I can, it kind of helps me. It's almost like having an agenda. Okay. And then here we go. The last one. Don't forget to clean your grill. The worst thing is to start up the grill after it's been sitting with food on it for a while. Always, my husband, what he always does is he turns the grill up to the high setting for about 10 minutes. He sets a timer on his phone, and then he goes back once that's done, and he scrapes off all the food that has stuck on the grill, on the grates, and it's all nice and clean for the next time you're going to use it. And the next time you use it, you heat up the grill, you put a little bit of oil on a paper towel, use your tongs to spread that on the grill grate, and then your food won't stick to it. So those are my tips. You got a little extra one there about how to start the grill. Let me just make sure that I have done everything. Yep, I think that's everything. So just a quick recap of things to do, of different tips. We've got cook your chicken over low heat or indirect heat. We've got cook the pork or the beef over high heat. We've got use 2 skewers for your kebabs, which totally makes sense. So your small foods don't fall through the cracks and they don't spin on the skewers. Number 4, wrap your veggies in foil or use a grill stone. Same concept. So you don't lose things through the grill, through the grates. Number 5, marinate, or use a rub. And make sure that you only put your sauces on in the last 10 minutes. Number 6 was take your food off a minute or two early and let it rest. And number 7, clean your grill. So those are my 7 more easy summer grilling tips. If you have any questions, if you would like to suggest something else that I talk about that you would be interested in hearing about, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to I want to know what you want to hear about. And then the other thing is, don't forget about my challenge, my grilling challenge in my VIP club, and come over and join me. Double checking the comments here. thank you so much for joining me and being a part of this. And for the replay viewers, we're so glad that you are watching on the replay as well. And I will check you out next week. We will come back with another version of another episode number, I forget what episode we're on now. I think it's 135. So next week, no, 136. I've got some cool things to show you next week. Have a great week, and thanks for joining me on Sarah Stovetop's Tool Time Tuesday, episode 135. We're signing out. Have a great evening. Bye.